No decisions have been made, but today Mayor Rich David said closing the aging Collier Street parking garage is still a possibility. He says the structure has reached the end of its useful life. Meanwhile, plans for a new multi-purpose parking facility at 7 Holly Street are in the works. The city applied for $3.5 million from the state to put toward the project. And David says it will move forward regardless of how much funding it receives. Now, even with these new plans, David is considering several options for the Collier Street garage.
We haven't made the decision whether or not it's going to close. Public safety is a top priority, and the overall safety of the ramp really is the only thing that matters.
Now, again, the city hasn't decided to close it just yet, but hundreds of people currently pay about $52 a month to park in the Collier Street garage. And our Julianne Pixoto spoke with people who park there who say they want it repaired. Julianne?
Caroline, more than 200 of the garage's 535 parking spots were closed off back in April as repairs began on the top 2 floors. Now, as the city is considering closing the parking ramp entirely, many people who utilize it say they want it repaired because they're worried about safety.
It's obviously in pretty poor shape.
It could use some work.
It does seem like it could use a little repair. I mean, just the rusting beams and falling down cement. It looks like it could use help.
Despite the disrepair, the garage is convenient, offering a central location for parking downtown.
It's very convenient right now for me to park here due to my MS. You know, I'm sure other handicapped people also. I know there's only very few handicapped parking spots around, and they're all metered. So I do pay a monthly fee to park here in the garage.
But despite the city's closure of the upper levels, some say they're now worried about the rest.
I don't want what happened in Johnson City with that parking garage by the hospital to happen here.
The top floor of UHS Wilson's parking garage collapsed nearly 2 months ago, crushing dozens of cars but injuring no one. Some people who park downtown want to make sure there's not a collapse in Binghamton.
I'd be worried that the same thing could happen. There's very limited parking around here, and I guess that's why I take my chances.
Regular parkers say they'd like to see fixes made, even if it means shutting the garage down temporarily.
It might make me have to walk a longer distance to work, but if that's what it takes to fix this place up and provide safe parking in the city, I would support it.
I would support it being closed for renovations. I would hope it would reopen again. I hope that we don't lose this parking garage.
Caroline, I want to reiterate, it's the mayor's decision alone whether or not to close the garage, and he told Action News today that decision has not yet been made.
All right, thanks, Julianne. Just this past March, Binghamton Mayor Rich David announced a $1.4 million project to repair the city's 3 public parking garages. But today, his office said the Collier Street garage near City Hall is about to shut down permanently. Stephen Adams spoke with drivers at the garage who say this throws a fork in their commute. Stephen?
Yeah, Caroline, Deputy Binghamton Mayor Jared Cram alerted us to the closing of the Collier Street garage at 10 of 5 Friday night. Workers inside the garage tell me they only found out Thursday, the night before. At this point in time, the plan is to permanently shut down the entire structure on November 9th, with tentative plans to demolish it in 2016. That familiar buzz is part of the soundtrack to Jordan Doolittle's commute.
Every weekend, I work right across the street, so it's pretty convenient.
He's a regular in LAZ Parking's Collier Street garage.
There's the opera going on tonight, and that's down at the Forum, so it's pretty easy for people to just park here or park at the Metro.
In June, the city closed the top 2 floors of the garage for safety reasons. City leaders had originally planned to keep at least part of the garage open until 2018. But even that would have meant millions of dollars in repairs. Now the structure will shut its gate for good.
There's just simply not enough space for all the residents, so it's going to just create even more parking problems for people who live here full time.
Monthly permit holders will drive to other garages, and the 200 or so daily parkers will be directed to the nearby surface lot.
I got to park somewhere else.
And Caroline, as for what's next for this location here on Collier Street, workers inside the garage told me tonight they've heard rumblings it may become a flat parking lot temporarily until the city of Binghamton can raise the funds to build a completely new parking garage at this location. As for the city's part, all they've said is that they're planning to tear it down in 2016 to make room for, quote, future development. Reporting in Binghamton, Stephen Adams, WBNG TV. Action News.
With the Collier Street parking garage in downtown Binghamton now closed to the public, many will have to find somewhere else to park. As David Hermanovich shows us, that can be difficult. It can also hurt some businesses during the upcoming winter season.
Finding the perfect parking spot can be tricky.
Well, just coming here tonight, parking is just not a good thing. There's not an awful lot of spots, and you got to kind of, do some searching.
Tonight being the first night the Collier Street garage is officially closed, searching for those spots just became harder.
When they have no other choice, that ramp that held 500 cars on a daily basis, those cars have somewhere else they need to go.
Places like the State Street garage and the Boscov's garage, farther away from the Veterans Memorial Arena than the Collier Street garage. I timed the walk from the Collier Street garage to the arena, which takes 1 minute and 42 seconds. But walking to the arena from the State Street garage takes almost 3 minutes more to get there, clocking in at 4 minutes and 22 seconds. An uncomfortable walk in the rain, but in the snow would cause issues for those looking for entertainment.
It's not that far of a walk, but it's a farther walk. So.
Anthony Capozzi is the general manager of the arena. He says the walk to the arena from the State Street garage will be tougher for some once the winter season starts.
Bad weather, like bad weather does, could deter people from going out and coming to events. Hopefully, people won't not want to come downtown for a hockey game or any other event.
Or get a bite to eat. The general manager of Zona's says most customers park in the paid lot next to the restaurant. But once that lot fills up, parking will be tight in the winter.
And it loses spots in general just for snowbanks, et cetera, et cetera. We already lost those spots. We're going to lose to that, plus the whole ramp being closed down.
Trying to find some space for customers to squeeze in.
Parking is a big thing, and I think it will deter some folks.
In Binghamton, David Hermanovich, WBNG TV, Action News.
Now, the arena's general manager told Action News tonight they plan to head for the Collier Street garage closing. Those who buy a ticket online for an event at the arena have the option to also buy a special parking permit for the night of their event. This permit allows them to park in the parking garage below the county office buildings while visiting the arena.
Continuing our look at projects with the $500 million Upstate Revitalization Award and what it will bring to the southern tier, the city of Binghamton's wasting no time moving forward with its list of priorities. Developing the property at 7 Hawley Street is one, but first a different project must be addressed, and our Josh Martin is in the studio with details on that. Josh.
Candace, now that the Southern Tier has won the URI competition, 7 Hawley Street will be transformed into a public-private mixed-use development that includes new parking, market-rate housing, and commercial retail space. But before any of that can happen, the city is looking to bring back a parking area downtown.
What we'd like to do first is demolish the Collier Street ramp and create surface parking so that we are addressing a portion of the parking issue in downtown Binghamton.
The mayor anticipates the surface parking lot to have anywhere between 75 and 90 parking spots. The city is working with the agency of Broome County and the Regional Economic Development Council. It wants to use some of the money that was won in the Upstate Revitalization Initiative to pay for demolition of the current Collier Street ramp, as well as the creation of the surface lot. By having the surface lot done first, it'll allow the city to break ground at the 7 Hawley Street project location and have parking available downtown for those who park there daily. The city plans on moving forward with the Collier Street and 7 Hawley Street planning early next week. The mayor tells me there's still a lot to determine as far as funding and who will be doing the demolition.
New information about the downtown Binghamton parking study, a project that began over the summer. A consulting firm, Nelson Nygaard, has submitted its first drafts for review. And our Julianne Pixoto standing by live in downtown Binghamton with some of the findings.
Candace, the drafts were submitted less than a week ago and are in no way complete. However, they do offer a glimpse of the analysis the consulting firm has been working on. The Binghamton Metropolitan Transportation Study discussed the draft. A key recommendation it noted was to open up more street parking in the high-demand areas of downtown, near the restaurants and bars. The firm says it's common in communities that people prefer street parking to parking ramps or parking lots. The firm is also recommending the city update its parking technology.
There's a shortage in places where people want to park. There might be some additional parking in outlying parts of the downtown area, but where people want to park, there's a shortage of on-street parking.
This isn't New York City, and we hear that over and over and over again, that people are used to walking blocks in New York City. Well, they're not used to walking 10 blocks in the city of Binghamton, nor should that be a goal that we strive for.
Mayor Rich David says overall he's pleased with the draft, but noted the study started prior to the closing of the Collier Street parking garage. Now, the consulting firm will be back in Binghamton next month for more public hearings and meetings, and we can expect the final report to be released sometime in February. Reporting live in downtown Binghamton, Julianne Pixoto, WBNG-TV, Action News.
It's been almost a year since the city of Binghamton hired consulting firm Nelson Nygaard to analyze and improve parking downtown. And tonight, residents learn more about the study taking place at the third and final public meeting. Julianne Pixoto is standing by live downtown with some of the consultant's recommendations. Julianne.
Caroline, we're here on Court Street, where, as you can see from the sign above me, parking is free, but you only get 30 minutes, and it can be hard to do much of anything in just a half hour, let alone enjoy a meal or shop around. And that's why the consultants are recommending all parking downtown be pay-as-you-go for as much time as you want without time limits or restrictions. Now, while this could help consumers, this may perhaps have an even bigger impact on the businesses downtown.
Some of the biggest issues that we found are really the parking availability on street, particularly in areas where the restaurants are during meal times.
It is an issue. It's a big concern down here, especially now that the Collier Street parking garage is closed.
Jimmy Gray co-owns Despina's Mediterranean Taste, located just across the street from the Collier Street ramp.
They try to find parking anywhere they can, kind of concern for all businesses downtown.
Around the corner on Court Street, Imagica struggles with on-street parking. There are just 5 spots in front of the shop.
If they can't find a spot, they'll drive around a couple times and maybe they'll park in a ramp. Some people don't like ramps.
The consultants believe as many as 300 on-street parking spots can be added downtown.
There are some areas in town where the travel lanes are really wide, or there isn't on-street parking for whatever reason that maybe was decided a long time ago. And we've started taking a look at some of the areas that are in really high demand.
Many feel if something doesn't change soon, business will go elsewhere.
When they have that subconscious factor that there's no parking available downtown, it makes them less likely to come.
A lot of our customers, if they can't find spots down here, they shop where they can find spots. That tends to be Vestal.
The consultants are wrapping up the study. They're going to go back and revise the drafts, of course, taking into account the public's opinion, and they expect the final report to be released by the end of March. Reporting live in downtown Binghamton, Julianne Pixoto, WBNG-TV, Action News.
All right, thanks, Julianne.